Don't fall out of your seats. It's Mission Impossible Fallout. Alright, we're here with the video review for Mission Impossible 6 Fallout. I'm back with James. We just saw it. Boom.
Separately.
I think we both had similar reactions though. Mission Impossible 6, I think they just keep getting better.
Right, and this was definitely a much needed palate cleanser after that garbage pile that was which we reviewed last week.
Yeah, and I just want to say sorry about the audio on that video. A lot of technical difficulties. Hopefully this one's better. Mission Impossible 6. I think the whole series has progressively gotten better a little bit with each installment in its own way.
Yeah, it's almost like a fine wine. This is one of those rare franchises where it's not overstaying its welcome, and it's crazy to me that this is already the 6th one in this franchise. I mean, they've really been banging them out in the past few years. So what are your overall thoughts on this movie?
Whoa, going into this movie, when it started, I was a little bit worried because there was some expositional heavy setup for basically the whole plot. It sounds really confusing if you were to explain.
Oh, you're talking about the mission briefing, right?
The mission briefing.
Isn't that usually how it starts off with every Mission Impossible movie? I feel like there's always that.
Yeah.
It's like a trope that they're always going back to now.
Yeah, I guess it's something we should just come to expect now.
Right.
There's these rogue agents that are carried over from our previous mission, Rogue Nation.
Right.
And they have a leader named John
Lark.
Yes. John Lark. These guys are now called Apostles. So new name, perhaps different faces, and our favorite action hero Tom Cruise is going to go in and find some identities, stop some nuclear destruction. It's kind of irrelevant. It's going to be an action spectacle all the way through. So you're not going to be watching Mission Impossible for a really deep story. You're going to be watching Mission Impossible for action set pieces that will literally make you fall out of your seat if you're not buckled in properly.
If you've seen the past few Mission Impossibles, it sort of exists in that same comfort zone. Like, I feel like there is some overlap with Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol. Like, it's kind of like similar beats, but like you said, we're at the point where every time we go in to watch a Mission Impossible film now, it's just like how much much more crazier can these action set pieces get, and they just seem to be upping the ante like every time.
And it's going to be big. Tom Cruise has a really high standard for these Mission Impossible movies. He always wants to kind of outdo his previous stunt, which for some of them in the past, like that airplane stunt from Rogue Nation. Insane. How do you top that? You're gonna have at least close equivalency in this one.
Right. Even if you are not a fan of the Mission Impossible franchise, just going to watch Tom Cruise perform these absolutely insane stunts is kind of, I would say, worth the price of admission alone. You go into this movie expecting ridiculous, high octane, insane action set pieces, and you're fully expecting Tom Cruise to pull off these just mind-blowing stunts, and then when you actually see it exceeds that because he's actually doing it, and it was I couldn't believe I don't know if this would be considered a spoiler, but it's in the trailer. So there's a scene where he does a halo jump from a plane, and he actually jumped out of it. Apparently he really actually performed a halo jump out of a plane.
That scene where the camera comes up behind him and the that door drops from the plane, and he's there, and you're in the plane.
It's breathtaking because the fact that they actually filmed that while skydiving, it just makes it that much better.
And you can feel that they really did that.
Right, because there's no nothing has to be CG'd out because of green screen, or they're not faking this over a wind tunnel or anything like that. It's so exhilarating because it's they actually
You're
did
falling with them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the same for all of the big stunts in this movie. I think Mission Impossible has a unique way of capturing action that we've seen the motorcycle chases, we've seen people jump out of planes before, but they just bring this new element to it where it's almost like seeing it for the first time. Maybe because it has that like realism.
Yeah,
attached.
it definitely has that added element of just because of the fact that Tom Cruise is actually performing these stunts himself, the camera doesn't have to cut away. Like they can actually do close-ups of him on the motorcycle because he's actually riding the motorcycle
through traffic.
Right, and he's actually hanging off a helicopter, holding onto a rope. So that really adds a lot to the action, you know, and they can shoot it in ways that, you know, normally they wouldn't be able to because of, you know, having to use a stunt double.
Right. And I honestly think that Fallout is the most action-packed mission yet. From start to finish, you think they hit their high stunt and then another one comes right around the corner fast. For me, one of my favorite things about the Mission series is, like with most big production I would say Hollywood movies these days, even if it's a Marvel movie, you know, they want to take you on this global, if not interplanetary adventure, and you're gonna have the big titles of the city, right? Okay, now we're here in this part of the world, we're here in this part of the world.
Yeah.
The Mission series, for me, takes me to those places more than any of the other movies, just in the way that it captures the locations. It's almost like taking us as a tourist because they hit the most famous landmarks, the most famous tourist destinations, and then they put Tom Cruise on a motorcycle there. That's just one of the things that I enjoy about these movies. It's just how they capture locations.
And what's really interesting is that this is the first time for this franchise. This is the first time they've brought back a director to direct a sequel to a Mission Impossible film. Christopher Mcquarrie, the director of Rogue Nation, came back to direct this one. This is also the first time they brought back a villain from a previous Mission film. The villain from Rogue Nation, Solomon Lane, he comes back in this one. To what extent, I'm not going to say. Because,
great villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like with keeping the same director, a lot of the previous Mission series feel they have their own vibe to them, and they kind of stand alone uniquely in tone and style. This one really is more of a continuation.
Right, it really
of Rogue
is.
Nation.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely the most consistent.
Yeah, and the look of the movie and everything.
For sure. In terms of returning characters, I kind of wish they brought back Jeremy Renner's character, but I
agree with that. But yeah, Henry Cavill is in this, and so we do have kind of that replacement character.
Right, and his mustache that apparently caused a lot of production problems for Justice League.
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
the mustache that's the mustache that they had to CG out in the Justice League issues.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why he has
Did he have
that
like
crazy.
a weird
Yeah, he has
face?
the crazy uncanny valley face in Justice League. It's because of that. Because they wouldn't let him shape that beard. I thought Henry Cavill was really good in this role.
He's not my favorite actor for depth, but he's a good action actor, and he has really good screen presence. So he's also one of those guys where you don't really know how to feel about him, and which works. Like, where is he leaning towards this issue, because he doesn't really show a lot of emotion on his face,
right?
Which actually fits really good for his character in this movie, because he's kind of. But yeah, he was a good addition, very well casted for this movie.
A standout for me was the White Widow character, who plays like sort of like the broker between
What's her name?
The actress's name is Vanessa Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby.
Right? I actually hadn't seen her in a lot of other films, where I think she's done a lot of TV. But yeah, she was really charismatic, and I actually wanted more of her. Yeah, beautiful actress, and she plays that role like pitch perfectly in this movie. And I wish there was more of her, but hopefully she will play a larger part in future
potentially
Mission Impossible installment.
I hope so, because she was definitely a highlight in her scenes in this movie. There was real standout and memorable scenes for me.
Also, another returning character is Rebecca Ferguson's character from Rogue Nation is also back in this one, and she does a great job as well. Pretty much all of the cast members, I would say, do a fine job in their respective roles. But in terms of the pacing of this film, I would say it moves at a very nice pace. Like it's I think it clocks in at about 2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I never felt bored at any point. I never felt like the movie was dragging. Like, it definitely went at a very brisk and consistent pace.
Yeah, and it's just really it is just action after action after action. And it's not like hit you over the head, overwhelming action.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's not action that goes on, that is too drawn out and doesn't.
Right, it's not just explosion after explosion.
Right, exactly. Because that's just the type of action that you can't, you struggle to sit through it because it just gets so monotonous and you're just watching stuff explode on screen and just people punching each other. But the fact that Tom Cruise performs these stunts, and like I'm telling you, this guy cannot possibly be in the right state of mind, because there's no other actor in Hollywood that would even think about doing.
Right, there's no word that comes to my mind other than crazy, out of your mind to be doing. I mean, what a daredevil this guy is, like, to be doing these stunts.
The only thing is like this just legitimately has me legitimately concerned about his well-being now moving forward, because like you can only push your luck so much, because apparently I mean, he's had like brushes with death like since like the past, like, you know, however many, you know, Mission Impossibles, because of all these, you know, crazy.
I want to see more missions, but I also don't want to see a news headline of him going down on one of these stunts.
Absolutely. I mean, I heard he actually broke his ankle this time while filming that that rooftop scene, and you can actually see it in
I really got kind of like the sweaty palms in a lot of these action scenes that some of the helicopter stunts.
That helicopter scene was amazing.
Like you were saying, the rooftop stuff, everything in this movie, it's just well done, just very well done.
Yeah, this is action done right, in my
eyes.
Like, this is how action should be shot. Right? You're supposed to be right there with the action.
Yeah, the Mission Impossible franchise is, to me, a masterclass in how to shoot an action adventure movie.
Right.
Like, as with all the Mission movies, you know, they have certain tricks that we come to expect. You know, the faces, the masks, the double cross, double agents, triple agents, whatever you will. One thing that I am very impressed with this one, and pretty much with all of them, you don't see it coming. Like, it doesn't.
Right.
As much as you think,
they get me every time.
Right. As much as you think you're gonna predict.
Yeah.
It's the same trick, but it works like a charm every time, and you look at the person next to you and you're like, they got me good. They got it.
Yeah, that's a great point, man, because like some in a lesser franchise, like those types of tricks that are repeated can just start, you know, coming off as gimmicky and like very tired and gimmicky. They manage to pull it off every time, man. And like you said, like, I should know better, but they get me every time.
You should see it coming, but you don't.
Those tricks, if you will, they become so ingrained in this series now. It's almost like you can't like do without them.
Yeah, and I love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
The same with the score, and I like how they're tweaking the score like every time, for every new installment now, and it's
right. Yeah. I was thinking that during the movie, like, they're taking the score to a new level, and they're really giving it some new effects and some new, like a new polish, it doesn't sound like cheesy TV show score now. It really has an epic feel to it and some weight to the score.
Yeah.
That was one thing I definitely noticed.
I definitely appreciate that, because it's they're keeping the same base, you know, recognizable melody, but they're altering it for
it's evolving.
Yeah, it's evolving, and I think that's just kind of like a parallel to what's going on with the series, man. It's just constantly evolving, and what can I say? I had a blast with this movie. You know, I knew I went in knowing exactly what I was getting, and that's exactly what I got.
Right.
And I can't really ask for much more than that.
Right. If you're going in for an action movie and to have a good time, this will not disappoint you in the slightest. It's going to actually probably give you a little bit more than you expected. I'm betting.
I don't know why. I don't know how anyone could not be a fan of this series at this point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just very clear to see that the Mission franchise is here to stay, and it is, in my mind, becoming probably, if it wasn't already, these are some of the greatest action movies ever made.
Yeah. Where would you rank this amongst the other Mission films?
I'm gonna say that this Mission has been my favorite thus far.
Really?
This
That's,
mission
that's,
was
that's pretty high praise. Out of all 6.
out of all 6. I love how different and unique each of them are. This one for me just really brought it to a new level.
I'm still not quite sure where I'm at in terms of ranking this, like, compared, because right now, Fallout is pretty much neck and neck with like Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol. Like, I've enjoyed really thoroughly enjoyed these past 3 installments. Really love the 3rd one.
Yeah.
I feel like in some respects I like the 3rd one better than the most recent 3.
The 3rd one was my favorite up until now, where I'm like, I don't know.
So what score would you give Mission Impossible Fallout?
I'm gonna give Mission Impossible Fallout a pretty solid 8 out of 10.
Okay.
This is a very enjoyable action. Probably one of the most enjoyable action movies I've seen in a long time. Just straight up action with some drama, fun summer movies that I very, very, very much enjoyed.
Yeah, that's actually 8 is actually lower than I was expecting. A lower of a score than I was expecting you to give it. I'm actually gonna go with an 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it's just pretty much everything. I'm gonna echo pretty much everything you said. If you just want to see like a good summer action blockbuster, like this is
your
it.
movie.
This is it right now.
Definitely don't miss Mission Impossible Fallout. This is the summer actioner that we wanted so much and we got. If you guys saw it and you thought differently, let us know how you feel about the movie. Comments below. If you agree, anything, we just want to add to the discussion and just about the movie, about all movies. What's your favorite mission? You know, anything. Just we'd love to hear from you, really. So until next time, just keep watching movies, and we'll be back with another Movie Beat review shortly.
Stay tuned, guys.
All right, see you later.